I recently had my 25th Spinraza PT appointment. And with this appointment, I felt like I was going to have a decline just because of the way I was feeling. These past several weeks, I have been feeling a little bit more fatigued than usual, than my normalcy. And as I went to have my Spinraza PT, I told my physical therapist, he was like, "Hey, how are you feeling? Like, how are you doing? How's your strength?" And just asking how have I been feeling? How's my health? Because he knows that I oftentimes have complications with my respiratory. And I told him how my respiratory has been off and on. I've been, there was several weeks ago I had to take some antibiotics and steroids just because my health wasn't doing 100%. I was feeling a little bit under the weather. And I was telling him how I was feeling and telling him how, of course, when you feel under the weather, what happens? You feel fatigue, right? And as I was, my respiratory was on and off for a short while, and as I think this plays a really big factor into me feeling fatigue. And I told him, I was like, I've been feeling a little bit more fatigued than usual these past several weeks. I was like, I can't really say it's my SMA progressing or it is entirely my SMA. That maybe it could simply be because, again, I've been feeling on and off with my respiratory. So when you feel under the weather, what happens? You feel fatigue, right? And then especially you have to recover from it. And for me, it's a little bit harder, to recover um, because of my SMA as well. It's a much bigger fight to put up with, to say the least. And so when I went up to my physical therapist, he was asking how I was feeling, and I told him how I was feeling. And I told him I was like, I'm feeling like I was like, when I do these tests, I am not confident that I'm going to do really well because that day I was feeling a little bit more fatigued than usual than my previous past appointments with him. And as I was doing my PT, I can definitely tell the significant difference from, how I was able to do my previous test and the way how I was doing my current test, doing these certain tests that you have to do after you have your Spinraza injections. And as I was doing these PTs, these tests and these tasks, I guess you could say, that get calculated within the test. As I was doing it, I can definitely tell the big difference. And I was like, some stuff that was usually simple for me, excuse me, some stuff that would come a little bit simple or less challenging became a really really big challenge. And in fact, there was one test that usually I am able to do and I wasn't able to do. And as soon as I seen that, I was like, oh, my results are definitely going to show a big decline. And overall, I did my PT to the best of my ability. And I even tried like pushing myself, like putting myself into that mental mindset or shifting my mindset a little bit. Like you can do it, like keep trying, don't give up, you can do it. And I was like really adamant to try to get this one particular test done, and I couldn't do it. And anyhow, so my results at the end, I was like, after every result, I like to get a test score of my results, and my score was 14. Now, for those of you that don't know, is the higher the number, the better. And I like to compare. I like to know my current test, my test score, and I like to know my previous test scores to kind of just get an understanding. Okay, am I stable? Am I showing a decline? Am I showing an increase? Like I like to compare my results like that. And so anyhow, my score with this test was 14, and I was like, what was my last one? And he was like 16, and that's what I believed too. I thought it was like around 16 to 17, and he was like 16. Okay, and I was like, okay, so what's the one before that? And the reason why I'm asking this is because, again, I was feeling, not am, but I was feeling under the weather off and on, during prior to this test. So, I have to factor in that into the equation as to me feeling fatigue, or is it really my SMA? So I wanted to test the last 3 to 4 previous PTs, physical therapies, doing these tests because I wanted to see, okay, what's the graph showing? What's the chart showing? Is it showing me stable? Is it showing me declining? And as I was reflecting off of the test, I can one obviously tell the decline, right? And compared to my previous test. And as I was so I asked him, I was like, okay, so my test score this time was 14. The one before that was 16. The one before that was the one before that was 19. And then it was like 16, and then it was like 15, 14. prior to. So I looked at the graph for several. So technically on the graph chart, on the chart, it shows that, I'm, a little bit inclined here, and then it shows, back to drop. But pretty much it seems like I'm stable, which is a good thing compared to, my several test scores from at least like a year and a half. So I wanted to make this video because I think it's important to document and share with you guys. But yeah, hopefully my next test scores is will be improved, and if not, then I will make another updated video talking about my SMA, how my strength is feeling, and yeah. But I love you guys. I appreciate you guys, and if you have any questions in regards to my SMA or in regards to anything, with my personal life or with my SMA or injections, Spinraza, anything, please drop them down within. Please drop down your thoughts within the comments down below, and I will either reply back to you or I will reply and make a video talking about that particular topic. Again, I love you. I appreciate you. And remember, grow through what you go through. Much love.